Hello everyone out there and welcome to this edition of a late night screen review. This time we're talking about the movie Renfield.
Why don't you start by telling us what brought you here?
My boss, he's different.
You can't get him out of your head.
No.
I need your assistance.
I'm coming, Master! Oh, you feel like he could destroy you with the snap of his fingers.
Wouldn't even need to snap.
Okay.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, what?
Renfield. Bring in innocent victims. I want a handful of nuns, a busload of cheerleaders.
And I just want a normal life again. But this modern world is a dangerous place.
Thank you. You saved my life. Did I watch you cut a guy with a decorative serving platter?
It's all in the wrist.
Let me explain.
My boss gave me this power. In return, I tend to his needs, including care, feeding.
You bring in people to eat?
And so Renfield, directed by Chris McKay, and the story was actually done by Robert Kirkman. Yes, that Robert Kirkman of The Walking Dead fame. It's in all major cinema releases now. And probably some streaming sites. So, what is this story about? Well, ultimately it's about Renfield, yes. And if we don't know, if you don't know Dracula lore, he's the servant, the familiar of Dracula. So he's basically been enslaved for the last, 200 years by Dracula, obviously having to kind of protect him and find him places to live and stay over the decades. And we're in the modern age now. And Renfield feels like his kind of job isn't as appreciated as it should be. And he kind of feels like maybe it's time for himself to, stand up to Dracula and take his own power back. And it's basically all the hilarity and gore and violence that ensues because of that. Well, what did I think of the movie? Well, we went to our local Cineplex to see this film. We went to the Savoy Cinema in Nottingham. If you've never been, I highly recommend you check it out. It's fantastic. I even had a photo with a portrait of Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I'll post that up here. Yeah, because they have loads of photos at the cinema of famous actors over the years. Anyway, so we went to see it. It was a late night screamer showing. Me and my girlfriend went. There were 2 other people in the whole theatre. It was one of the smaller screens, which was perfect. I had a big bucket of popcorn. I had a coffee, and we were well away. I purposely stayed away from any kind of other reviews of this film. I stayed away from spoilers or anything like that, apart from the original sneak trailer. That's the only thing I'd seen. And obviously being a massive Universal Monsters fan, a new film about Dracula and Renfield and those characters, I had to go see it. And what did I think? I absolutely loved this movie. I thought it was fantastic. So this film is ridiculous. It's way over the top. There's ultra violence and gore. There's a lot of action scenes and fighting and things like that. There's lots of gunplay. If you're a kind of fan of the old sort of Matrix movies, you'll get a little kick out of that here. But there's also some characters. So obviously the whole film centres around Renfield and him wanting to kind of retake his life away from Dracula. It kind of takes an interesting dynamic between the relationships of Dracula and Renfield, and they're kind of like an abusive, toxic couple that kind of need to split away from each other. There's other like side plot stories involving the police and mobsters and all this other kind of good stuff. But the film itself is just a really fun ride. If you guys out there saw Cocaine Bear, it's kind of in the style of that kind of movie. So it's, it's got some like kind of fluff characters and there's kind of a loose framework of a plot. And then there's just a lot of fun happening inside that kind of framework. It's really straightforward. It's not very complex. Nicolas Cage does a wonderful performance of Dracula, probably one of the best I've seen in years, really. Again, he's not in it throughout. It's mainly about Renfield and his kind of arc and his storyline. it's not really going to be anything you've not seen before. But just for the performances of Nicolas Cage as Dracula, just for the kind of fight sequences and the action sequences, just for the gore alone, because the gore is really fun. So one of my biggest pet peeves in horror is that I always think that deaths should be imaginative and fun and a bit of a nudge, nudge, wink, wink to the audience. And this film has it in spades, which just made me smile and laugh. And I just enjoyed the experience. I've heard some sort of negative reviews that the kind of film isn't doing anything interesting or new. It doesn't. But if you're going out to the cinema for just a nice, fun thrill ride, featuring the character of Dracula and Nicolas Cage as Dracula, and you think that's going to be a fun time and just a good laugh at the cinema, then this is the film it's going to be, and this is what you're going to take away from it, and you're going to really enjoy it. And Nicholas Hoult does a good job of Renfield. You know, you do actually feel for this character. He does have some kind of inner turmoil about what he's been doing over the centuries to help Dracula, but then also kind of wants to retouch with his humanity. And there's things there. It's just not a massive through plot to the whole movie, so it's not the main reason to go see this film, unfortunately. But still, it's a great performance. As I say, I can't highly recommend it enough, and I can't wait to go to the cinema again to watch Renfield. It's a high recommend from me. And with that, guys, that's it for this week's review. We will see you again soon, hopefully for another full episode of Jack Horrorhound's House of Horrors. That one's coming. The last episode of Jack Horrorhound's House of Horrors was unfortunately blocked by YouTube's copyright. So I'm still trying to kind of figure that out and maybe rework it so we can get that episode out to you. Until then, we've got the We're Still Watching Star Wars. We've got the We're Still Watching Star Wars Jedi commentary. And we're going to keep giving you these late night screen reviews and also the Jack Horrorhound shorts until I kind of get settled into my new location. But until then, guys, stay safe, stay scared, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.